Yes, welcome Open Goal Winter Football Podcast, episode 2! The main man,
the hero.
Davey, how are you, mate?
I'm good.
Oh, no, sorry, Davey, how are you?
He's got more hair than me.
That's a good start. I brought some of my hair back for his upper lip. I don't know what you said.
Well, I was looking at him going, I played him 2 weeks ago, he didn't look like that.
He's been in a house fire since then.
Has he?
He was saying
Both
over,
of them are in the same one.
I'm just glad you picked me next to Slaney because I look brand new.
But I always ask me when they first came on, I look better in real life, don't I?
I don't think you get, come on, who dresses you, your mom?
That's a new coat. He's got that new coat just for you coming on.
Did you? Well, I didn't even know you had a coat on, it's camouflage.
By the way, I found out last night, brought up McGovern. You were brought up McGovern, weren't you? That's around about the same time.
Could be his dad.
Could be his dad. Couldn't you?
Yeah, if you've seen his man, you wouldn't mind that. You would not mind that.
And there's a wee look in all with him, isn't there?
There is.
Left foot? You're left foot?
Oh my God. Massive cock, massive cock.
What?
Massive cock.
No comment.
That's it.
I should have said either there.
It's a great start, boys.
Oh, thanks for coming on, Davey. Appreciate it, mate.
No, more than happy to do so.
Have you watched him? How much you love him? And you love him as well.
Aye.
He said that you're his favourite manager outside
I can
Robbie
understand
Nielsen.
that.
I can understand that.
I'm a wee bit disappointed I'm behind Robbie, to be honest.
Got to stick with
I'm
my
only
manager.
kidding, I'm only
He did
kidding.
say that right enough before he signed the new 2-year deal.
Robbie's the
it
best
worked.
now.
Aye, so
Worked, didn't it?
it worked.
But there's a bit of honesty in it.
But also, he's finally got a guest on the show. So thanks.
First, well,
thanks
two
very much.
new. Tierney was banned, wasn't it?
Oh, Tierney,
Tierney
aye.
and you. And what a two that is, to be fair. I was going to ask you something there. Oh, what was that again? It was a cracking question.
What's that in your hand? That's not your man's knickers, is it?
Is it?
Smell it.
This has been a big awaited podcast, though, hasn't it?
I've
We've been wanting you on for a while,
buzzing,
Davey.
absolutely buzzing. And I've done all my research, sorry, so it's a wee tammy hat.
Where have you had this research inside the hat?
No, I've got lots of research.
Where is it?
The recruitment is incredible, and I'm going to go into it because you've never signed a player with a fee at Livingston. Do you know that?
Well, your research isn't very good.
What's that?
Is he on dial-up?
Who have you signed with a fee?
The last one, Shamal George.
But before that.
He's only signed one player with a fee. That's
It was 2
unbelievable.
weeks ago.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Nobody else. Shamal George.
But before that, nobody.
No.
Which is incredible,
Was
by the way.
that included in your research?
Only went up to before 2 weeks ago.
Because we thought we were getting you on last month.
It was last month we thought you were on, so
Stop
I've
I
done
signed
it.
him in the summer.
Before the summer it was.
What's the script? Is he coming into tune with you or what? Is he always pestering you?
Yeah, he shot the bed, didn't he?
But you did say if I had a bad performance, you put me in the back of a transit van.
I said he sat there's a transit van out there waiting on you.
As you said,
You'll not be going anywhere for Christmas.
I've heard a rumour, boys. I've spoke to a couple of Livy boys. Davey's got a bit technically. Joins in training and that.
I've heard
I
that.
try to. I'm better than Big Marv.
Marv's just a
Better than Big
tackler,
Marv,
isn't he?
he made a living out of football.
You used to have staff games every Friday, didn't you? And Big
Aye, I
Mark,
don't
Big Mark
join
was
any
split his seat
staff.
or something.
No, that was me. On a Monday when we do a recovery session, so the boys that start the game, they normally do a gym-based session, like bikes, walk bikes, stuff like that. So the boys that haven't played any more than 60 minutes, they'll come out and we'll do a wee bit. So I'll always make the numbers up so I can be a floater so nobody can tackle you.
What were you, Davey? Centre mid?
I was that position I hate now when folks say I'm a 10. Well, that.
But were you a 10?
I kind of played that more offensive, but then the older you get, bit like yourself, you drop back. I just never got back to centre half.
So what was your favourite position?
Probably, playing as a 10.
What else?
But you want me to say doggy or something? I can see him. Get that done. Get him off me. It's like ducking heat.
What a duel this is, isn't it?
I'm enjoying it. So a number 10.
But you played with Scott Pittman, didn't you, as well?
Aye, so wee Pats, his dad took us into Broxburn. I've been his dad's pal for about 20-25 years. So his dad took us into Broxburn, I was the centre mid and wee Pats was the legs. I done all the shouting, he done all the running. And Big Stretch, the goalie coach you've got.
Is that the guy that comes... No, who's the goalie that comes on?
Aye,
Melee.
Really,
He's retired now, isn't he?
Who?
Gary Melee.
Aye, but that's no Neely. That's a different
Aye,
name.
that's Stretch. We were thinking though, wasn't it? Gary Melee.
Aye, so Big Stretch, Gary Malley, so he was the goalkeeper.
At Broxburn?
Aye, at Broxburn. So when we got relegated in League One, I think I had 20 quid a week for it to find a goalkeeper. So I phoned Big Stretch and said, "You're coming in with me."
You done a poll on Twitter, didn't you? If he gets a new contact on there.
Aye.
Who gets that?
we were sitting in, it was COVID, so he was working, he's works in foundations, grounds, like stuff like that, so he was a key worker for his, and I was going into the club every day. And Dale, that's at Hibs now, the secretary, he was into the club and we were trying to implement all the COVID measures and stuff like that. We're just sitting in the office, but we used to go in and play take ball for about 4 hours. Check the stadium was all right, make sure that, because the chef was still in and she was doing all the players' meals, but we were giving them to the community. So I needed somebody in the stadium to make sure you can't just have one person in the stadium. We're just sitting there, he's like, "Come on, you signing me next year." I'm like, "Big man, I've been trying to retire him for about 4 years. I genuinely, that's the truth, trying to retire him." And I went, "Right, I'll put it on Twitter." Hi, neighbour. So I'm sitting there that night and we've done a wee story and put it on Twitter. Just want to have a laugh. My phone went red hot.
Stop.
My wife's looking at me going, "What have you done now? What have you done now?" And I've actually went, "Oh no, what have I done?" But all the players jumped on the back of it because you had the PC brigade all jumping all over it. I said, "Disgrace." And then Marv jumped in, Nicky jumped in. And then they actually started to realise we were doing interviews in Brazil, South America.
I remember it was on Sky Sports
It was
News.
crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But the public voted for him because I was voting no.
Making new accounts like, no.
Big Marv's on Twitter, he's got like, I don't know, 30,000 followers. I'm like, "Get that out there, that's empty back us, big man." He's like, please vote no. Stretch got an extra
So that's him
year.
finally gone? Finally retired?
Do you want me to tell you a story?
Go.
First year, so he's played every level of Scottish football. So he was at Broxburn. But that was before the Lowland League. It was still the East Super League, the Premier League, East Super League, League 2. So that old structure. So he's played every level of football. He went out and loaned to Cowden Beef in League 2. Played League 1 with Livingston when we won the league that year. So my 2 goalies were Liam Kelly and Big Stretch. That was the goalies that year. But into the Championship, my 2 goalies were Neil Alexander and Big Stretch. He played at Tannadice, melted Scott McDonald, gave away a penalty. The full stand behind him were singing, "You
fat bastard."
Aye, there you go. Aye, but I started it. I was going to tell you that I started it. He's melted Scott Brown. I swear it melted Scott Brown. And was it Billy King?
Billy
Billy
King.
King,
He's at
yeah.
United, Billy King, Big Stretch, he saved the penalty, turned into the full stand. So he's played in the Scottish champ. So the first year in the Premier League, Liam Kelly's came back. I had Liam Kelly, Ross Stewart, Cheesy.
Aye.
And Stretch. Now we knew Liam was going away to QPR at the end of the summer, end of the season. So I said, "Look, I'm going to put you out the squad, Liam. I'm going to play Cheesy. I'm going to get Big Stretch 20 minutes. 20 minutes in the Premier League. Are you following this story?"
I fucking switched on.
Somebody's turned your lights out, isn't they? Anyway, so
It's me Ford again, innit? Me Ford, Kieran and Gotis. Right, on you go, story.
where am I?
20 minutes, you're again.
20 minutes at Motherwell. I said, "That's him played every level of football in Scotland." I said, "Man, we'll retire him. We're 3-0 down in 20 minutes. I'm looking at the fans and going, I can't do this. I can't put the big man on." So that was the first year. End of the season, Motherwell, I think we got it back to 3-2. But we were 3-0 down in 20 minutes. Couldn't put him on. Second year, COVID hits. So March, whatever it was. The next year, last game of the season, top 6, we had to beat St Johnstone to get Europe.
Remember that.
Couldn't put him on. And then that year there, we're down to, we're used all our subs. I've got 1 sub left against Dundee. I think it's 1-0 down.
Somebody get concussion or something?
That's right.
Aye, 1-0 down. So Morgan Neal's done his ankle. And I've got 1 sub left and he's a centre-half. Stretch a goalie, you know that?
I was at the game.
Were you?
Aye.
What
And
happened?
see when you brought the goalie on,
Aye.
you started turning around to the crowd and like, "Fuck, he's having a goal kick now." He was coming out for cross and you had your hands in your
No, I
head.
was like that because they put Charlie Adam on. As soon as I put him in goals, they put Charlie Adam on. He's fucking whipping rockets under the bar, free kicks for everywhere. So I went to Morgan, "Are you alright? Can you get through this?" "Aye, can get through it, no bother." I went, "Right, I'm just doing it," because I could have talked myself out, kept the centre-half and put a centre-half on. So put Big Stretch on, 1-0 down. The league position couldn't change. Put him on, he's only parked about 3 minutes. Charlie Adams went on, he is whipping, you can imagine, his corners are under Stretch's bar. He's 6'6", but we call him Dracula because he's scared of crosses. Right? Honestly, he's horrific. Horrific. That's what we call him. 2 names in football. He had Santa because he keeps giving presents away, and Dracula. That was his 2 names. So I went, right, he's on the park. Morgan Neal. Morgan Boys. Morgan Neal. Morgan Neal's at Cove.
How's it called?
Morgan Boys. Morgan's up. Just put stretch on. He's like, I'm finished. 1-0 down.
So you went down to 10 men?
Aye,
Take
10
him
men. We won 2-1. Big stretch slap.
Hero.
Oh, I love it, big stretch.
What a guy stretch.
Do you
What a
remember,
legend.
remember he saved?
Aye,
He only had one.
We Forest scored as well, the winner, didn't he?
Aye, we Forest scored that.
Remember again, brilliant.
So, got him there. And then
Amazing.
was
Superb.
able to retire him. He's played every single level of Scottish football.
Incredible.
And if you want to hear stories like that again, SWG on Sunday, he'll be on live, won't you, mate?
What?
You're coming on the live show, mate.
He's pulled it.
Sunday?
This
I
Sunday,
can't
you
do
know.
Sunday.
I know.
I told you that.
Oh, did you?
Nah, I can't spend 2 days with you in a row.
What about the Iron Brew?
Outstanding size. So, Davy boy, can you read that there? On you go. Let's see what your media game is.
What is it?
Ah,
Where am I reading?
come on, you. Yeah.
This weird World Cup got even weirder.
I need passion in it. I need more for you.
I can hardly see it.
Come on, you.
A font 10? Make it a wee bit bigger.
Help him, Smitty, help him.
Right, here we go. You ready?
Superman couldn't
Right,
read
come on,
that.
you. Come on. Here. This weird World Cup got even weirder yesterday with another shock result as Japan beat
I never watched it.
previous winners Germany. Although Scotland are out there, thankfully our winter football show in association with Iron Brew means we won't miss out on any of the weirdness. Who's the
it's
weirdest person you've met in football? Apart
Sitting
from me.
next to him. I'm sitting next to him.
He's a weird boy, isn't he?
Aye. You're a good weird.
Good weird though. I'd be good for changing him.
You're fucking weird though, aren't you?
What
strange
are some of
guy.
the messages he sends? Any weird messages he sends?
Sent your voice note last night, didn't I?
Sent me a voice note. It was nearly
One.
in tears.
I wanted Bartley out.
What, you want me to get him out?
Bartley out. Want him out, aye.
Would you take the
What
first
do
team
you think
coaching
you
job?
could bring to the job? What?
Well, there's the
That's
money.
right. Fuck off.
Fuck all.
What? He's not players. He needs to play himself, and you're meant to be his mate.
How many
You're not even
mannequins have you
helping him
got? You could probably be. Do you need a mannequin? You could do that.
You're
out.
good
I
at
hate
taking
to be a
boxes, aren't you?
mannequin.
The only thing
Boxes
is,
are
you're
brilliant.
How good at taking boxes though?
10 by 10,
brilliant,
that's it.
brilliant.
10 by 10.
brilliant with the stopwatch. And the
Aye, he's
whistle.
good with the stopwatch and
The
that's
whistle.
it.
But
Good.
I'm buzzing. SWG, we're back, boys.
Sunday.
Sunday.
By the way, you still get nightmares thinking about that place, though, don't you?
First one.
Oh,
No, the
that
dressing
summer
room
show.
and the summer show, but it was absolutely amazing. And we're back, Andy, you buzzing?
These are the boys that ended Jason Cummings' Scottish career.
Aye, you should thank
Fucking
him.
made them into
Got
it.
me the World
Aye, I
Cup.
know.
Is that you, boys?
That was us, done it?
Is that you?
He still texts me every couple of months or so. He's like, listen, just tell the boys I'm so thankful by the way for what he's done to me. He
Well, I
should be
hear
thanking us after
I
that.
don't think we'll ever see it like that again.
No.
What was some of the best moments at SWG?
Dildo.
Scotland games were unbelievable, to be fair.
You
I
shadow
think you
boxing the
had that, didn't
dildo.
you?
Aye, the Scotland games are unreal. I think that
When Si came out and did his tea routine and shouted, Denmark!
Denmark.
That was a low, wasn't it?
That was
I've
a
had a
low
lot of those in football, but that was up there.
I shadow box a dildo.
You've got the Scottish on Saturday, then you've got that show on Sunday.
Scottish on Friday night, mate.
Friday night, this could go
Do you
wrong
want
on
to talk a
Sunday.
wee bit about Friday
Let's
night,
do
Si?
that.
This could go wrong on Sunday,
How?
yeah. Knocked out
No,
the
this is going to be the
Scottish.
best weekend ever, Davey.
You going to win?
We're going to smash the full weekend. Confident,
That's
mate.
I see where you're coming from, David, because obviously having a chat with you beforehand about how he kind of sleep, he's asking you for advice, how do you take your mind away from it?
He looks as if he's been sleeping under a bridge.
By the way, what about the Louis
Give him a
V's?
bit. He's like, you better give him a bit.
Did you even put
He did, he was on his phone all the time.
But I've been on the
what-
podcast 2 years now and he's still no give Si a bit,
What
so
about the Louis V's? So they're brilliant, man.
superb, Davey.
And look, the watch and all, it's size of that.
He's got a bit, isn't he?
All that, yeah.
Did you hear us carrying your chinos? Remember the chinos you wore?
Ah, they were
Did you ever-
shocking.
Did you ever see that?
What ones?
The brown
They were like
chinos.
brown chinos
The
you
ones
wore.
they've been retired.
Good, mate.
They've been retired.
Aye, good,
Quite
good.
like
But
it.
it couldn't
They
have was
were
a game when
winners,
they
that
got
was the
rid
ones that we beat Celtic 1-0.
Was it?
Aye, I might bring him back out.
Was it? Was
You
it?
should wear MSWG free.
You're better than that.
Do you want them?
Aye, can I get them? I'll come home with you today.
The only thing is, you'll
post
spend
them.
the full
No,
time
it's all right,
sleeping
I'll
hours.
post them.
I'll come home with you today.
But we went on Chino Watch for a bit, didn't we? And when he started wearing them, they went unbeaten for ages, mind?
That's right.
As we were saying,
I'm going
they were a good luck charm, man.
You have got a bit, didn't you?
What do you mean?
Bit of style.
I'd like to think so.
But you've changed it.
Come on.
You've changed now, though, haven't you? Because when you were younger, I knew you've studied you inside out and studied your
You
brain.
didn't even know I
I
had signed a
studied you
player.
No, you have signed one player for finance. The rest have been
You knew
transferred
that,
for you.
didn't you?
Brilliant. I just wanted to see if you were on your toes. He's brilliant, isn't he? Absolutely.
That nose is
What-
getting bigger the more you talk to me.
No, but listen, what I noticed was
Are we
you
still
used
in the
to
same story?
materialistic. you used to like about your money and all that. Now
Yeah.
you're not about that. You're about people and about personalities and giving people a chance, and that's absolutely brilliant. David Martindale, absolutely.
Well
Well
done,
done,
Dave.
Swear.
Is that why you're coming in with
That's
me?
what I'm coming in.
That's why you
Resurrect my career, innit?
David can take you away with it the day we look after you.
We're going to be ready, aren't we?
I've had a few. I've met a lot of you in Berlin. There's loads of boys. You never been there?
Couple of times.
Have you?
What would happen to a guy like him in Barrel?
If I was in a cell with you, but you walk in the cell and I'm sitting there waiting for you.
I just walk right back out. Do you know what I do? I'd put all your stuff in a duvet and throw you out the cell. No, in fact, I'd put you in the duvet and throw you out the cell. You spend 90% of your sentence under your bed.
That's what he does anyway.
Anyway, in the masses,
Your mom charges £1,000 a week to sleep under your bed.
you're too much for me today. Are you? Too much.
You'd be wanting your mate to move in with you.
Aye, you're into jail with us.
You must have been in the nick.
I've known me.
Oh, he did get a
You
wee
better
bit.
watch
Done a
the
wee-
fashion police don't get you there. You get a weekender.
I've done a weekender before, but he told me in it.
They're
Still in it.
They're no good.
In it, mate.
What did you get? What was that for?
Breach of the peace.
Shouting at your mum?
Hey, come on,
Oh, no, just tell him there's a link in the description box for the tickets on Sunday.
Of course, there's a link in the ticket box below for
I
Sunday.
don't think you were telling me, you're not telling the audience.
Tell the audience, come on.
No, as you've just said it, go.
No, you say the ticket box, so it's a description box.
Right, you've said it,
Just say it, come on.
No, you go. Fucking hell, he's a dig, isn't he?
He's under pressure.
Is he alright?
Fucking hell.
under massive
What an
Don't
attack.
give him a
Isn't
hug. Go on, give him a hug.
He's under pressure, mate.
it?
Take your new coat off.
Can't even feel his shoulders.
I need it.
It's a dog 45.
This is like Ford O'Hare again. Do you ever watch that one with Ford, the still game?
What?
One with Ford done me, remember?
Still game?
Aye. He terrorised me, and this is the feel I'm getting now
That's
for
what
you.
used to call me. Simon had a nickname when we played Peter Reid. You were Winston.
How?
You only had one leg.
I was always decent against
Only
you.
had one leg and couldn't run.
No, Hopkins tried to sign me.
No chance.
He did. He phoned me once. He did.
He was there, mate, when Hopkins
I
was
know.
there.
I was good against you
He
now.
would have phoned me, David Whitbehind, and went, no chance.
Was he shite?
Did you play on me?
Played on you, I put
you?
wee pits on you.
How? I had pictures
Rafa
on me.
told me, he
That's
said
true.
he can't run. Can't run.
Rafa stitching you.
What you would say?
But he says he could never give the ball away.
He'd never give you ball away, but he never really had it a lot.
To be fair, I hated playing against Pittman. He was a fucking racehorse,
Just
man, wasn't he?
ran all
He's
day.
got so much energy,
Oh,
innit?
mate, I
ran.
hated playing. Yous were good.
Nah,
Yous were good that year.
see that? I can remember the game. Do you remember the game? Decky just came out of prison.
That's right.
That was Decky trained me on the Thursday, played using the Saturday up there. And that was the first game we went to a back three. We
Yeah.
were a 4 before that. But
Is that Lithgow as well?
So what we done, we had Sean Crichton. Sean was playing right back. Halkett, Lithgow and Jacko was the back four. Decky came out. So we need to come up with something to fit everybody into the team. So we went a back three. Lithgow went left centre half. Halkett was playing right back.
Was
Halkett
he?
was right
That's
back.
right, Halkett,
Wow,
mate.
I'd never have said
I
that.
went so pulling. All he done was just run up and down that line and blaze the ball out of the bar.
Aye, that
Then they
sounds
settled down.
sounds
See
about
that,
right.
bang. But I'll tell you, it's a funny story there. So anyway, that was the Decky played right centre half, Sean Crichton right wing back, Halkett middle of the three, Lithgow left centre half, and Jackson Longridge. And Big Decky, he was only out of prison 48 hours or something
That's
like that.
right.
Went up to Peter Reid and scored.
Was that your defence in League One?
Mate, they had a good team in League One, man.
That was it.
You was pissed at that year, didn't you?
Aye, I think we brought all different kinds of record. Mace wins in the bounce, Mace goals scored. But it was a tight league at that point. You had Brecon, Alloa, Airdrie and us.
Yeah.
And some of them were paying more money than us, but we were full time. So you got the right player because they came to be full time.
Aye.
They never went to let's say Brecon for more money or Airdrie for more money. I think they were a hybrid at that point.
Yeah.
But it was
See how that works, David? Like, see how the budgets and that money, full time to part time. Do you think by throwing a few quid at a few decent players makes your team better because of it?
I wouldn't mind having that opportunity. Yeah, but no, I think
You're living an example of-
sometimes if you can go and pay somebody 10 grand a week, it maybe comes to you for the wrong reasons. Like they're coming for the money, they're not coming for the opportunity. Whereas with the lower budget, you're generally signing players for the right reasons because they're coming to me for the opportunity, not the finances. Whereas maybe at the bigger clubs, it's a hunger, the desire there sometimes.
What was the Halkett story you were going to tell?
So Halkett got put into it. He was at Rangers. Craig Mulholland had phoned me and said, look, have a wee look at this boy. You'll let him come in and train me. He's going to probably get cut with us in the January or the summer. And the boss, the big Halks came in and already had Liam was in training with me, so Liam knew him really well. No, it was the champ year before we got relegated actually. So Big Halkett came in. He's in the office and that, so I said, morning. I said, look, I need a right back. I'm not a right back. I said, well, I need a right back. I've not got any money. So if you're not a right back, like, come in, we'll have a wee look and see how we get on. Next day, door goes. He's like, hello, Big Halk's pops. He said, I just want to let you know I'm a right back. I can play right back. Perfect. Put him in as right back. And the champ, we got relegated that year. And then went into League One. And then it was probably about 9 games into that season, that we moved him from right back into right centre half. But it was probably more because Decade came out of prison as well, and we had to find a system that suited the boys. So I'm very big. I don't believe in, here's my formation, here's my philosophy, and this is what I'm going to do. I don't really believe in that. I think players make formations and what's available, do you know what I mean? So at that point in time, we were looking at how do we get my back three involved. We've got 2 good full backs that can play as wing backs, and we'll get 2 strikers on the park. Liam Buchanan was the top scorer in the league that year. But he needed somebody up there playing with him as well.
And who was that?
I'm trying to think. Danny Mullen.
Danny Mullen was good for you as well. He was really
Danny, Sean Byrne.
Lee Mullen not used that year,
no? Lee came to the second part of the championship, so we got relegated for the championship that year. Had Fozzie, Mark Fozzie.
Fozzie, that's right, yeah.
We had Fozzie, went down to Sonali.
Is that a German guy? The German, the big German?
Have you won
Fozzie, honestly, technically, Fozzie.
Brilliant.
Brilliant in training, demand standards, very, very good. So we got relegated that year, got into League One, got promoted back up, and then in the January of the championship year, I brought in Ryan Hardy and Lee Miller, and that just kicked us right on.
So I would have been at Rangers in the championship that year. We would have played against you a few times, because I think did you beat us 1-0 at Livy, no?
No, you weren't. Rangers had got promoted the year before.
Oh, was it?
You had went up because it was Dundee United, St Mirren, us.
Aye, that'd have been right.
You went up.
The reason I say that, because you beat us 1-0 the year
1-0,
before.
Mark Warburton was the manager. Halkett scores the header. So had we Knoxie 16, we Matthew Knox.
You keep training with Rangers?
Aye, so I let him go in with Mark. So Davy Weir was good pals with Hoppy, and he phoned Hoppy. He said, look, we'd quite like the wee boy Knox. I said, go in for a week. So he's in the paper, a Livy player training with Rangers kit on. I couldn't get a deal over the line. It was a wee bit. It was disappointing, to be honest, because it wasn't the financials, it was the sell-on. Just give us a wee bit more, because you're stealing them.
Aye.
Give us a wee bit more. But
so the incentive for yous.
Aye, so if he does well, everybody does well. Couldn't quite get it over the line, and that's probably one of my biggest regrets in football, is that we Knoxie never went to Rangers. He's now playing, this is football for you, he's now playing with Musselburgh.
Seen that.
Musselburgh with my kit man's son, Cheb's son Wayne's the assistant manager at Musselburgh, and technically he was a quality B player. So we Knoxie 1-0 Warburton. You had won the league by that point. We're like, right, they've won the league by this point. They're going to put a weakened team out. I think put Neil Every, Lewis McLeod and that were playing. He scored.
I wouldn't have been there that year.
No.
I wasn't there with Lewis McLeod.
Aye, was that?
It'd have been the year before.
Might have been the year before, actually. I might be getting the games mixed up, but ball went in. Halkett was he came for Rangers, grew up with Rangers, been at Rangers since he was 8, massive Rangers fan, scores the win. Wee Knoxie puts the ball in, Halkett scores a header. I think it was a header, and we won.
No, it would have been the Futsals.
But Halkett started his career as a striker.
Because he scored a lot of goals for you.
See the amount of goals he scored for us. And even the game there on Saturday, when we won 1-0, pardon me, Halk wins the flick on to Alan Forrest when Robbie leaves him up top. He's a handful,
Oh, he is.
And
he's
a
very
good finisher. Good finisher.
You've always wanted to know how he got in with Livingston in the first place, haven't you?
I'm obsessed with your career. Honestly, when was the time you actually went, I want to be a manager now?
Never.
Did you know?
No, not really.
But how did it end up going from where you were at to being the manager?
What do you mean, like, to be the manager?
Aye.
So, obviously, Hoppy, me and Hoppy, so I was in with John McGlynn for 6 months. Mark Burchell.
That's right, Burchell.
Burchie was the assistant, but Burchie was for Livingston, so Burchie had a lot of friends that knew me, and I had a lot of friends that knew Burchie. So when my name had got put in with one of the directors upstairs, he said, look, we've got a local guy who wants to come in. But for him to come in and help the club, he's wanted to come in and watch training, take a bit of training, well, join in and see how it is. Because I was coming from Broxburn and I went in, I was like, we were running Broxburn better than what Livingston were getting ran. I was going in there to learn. So John had never had any money. To be fair, it was in a terrible place for the first 2 years. John left the club, Birchie got the job, Birchie brought Hoppy in. So I struck up a friendship with Hoppy, obviously done a wee bit more in training. And then Birchie left the job. But at that point, like John and Mark there was no money. I mean, no money, 300 quid a week for players in the Championship. So nothing at all, 300-400 quid, honestly. I had pals that were earning more working in building sites. So then Hoppy, Birchie left, and then Hoppy said, look, do you want to do it with me? I said, look, I'll speak to the board. I was kind of the conduit between the football department and the board at that point, which was kind of in a wee bit of a mess. So I said, aye, right, I mean, when we'll have a wee crack at it. So we actually got relegated because we took over maybe in November, December in the Championship. But the points, I think there was something like 9 points in 19 games, bottom of the league. We finished second bottom that year, Stranraer beat us in the playoff, and then we got relegated to League One, and that's when we just emptied the place and brought a lot of new players in. Put our style and how we wanted to play football in. And then that League One team, so wee Pats, everybody talks about wee Pats coming from playing in the Premier League now. I don't think wee Pats would be playing in the Premier League for Broxburn to the Premier League. I think the jump's too big, but organically, we've been relegated as a club. You've went to League One, and then you've been able to progress and develop, and I think that helped me as well.
Yeah.
Would I have came from Broxburn to the Premier League? I don't think so. That opportunity wouldn't be there, but I don't think you'd have the know-how to do it either. It's a huge jump. So going to League One, getting relegated, going to League One and being able to organically develop and progress as a coach and a player with wee Pats, I think it really helped us. And that continuity for League One to the Champ, the double back-to-back promotions, and then the first year in the Premier League, that was huge. That was that squad and staff together for, well, no, Hoppy left after the second year, but 3 years, really we had collectively 75% of that squad.
But that's
amazing.
What you're saying, that's you don't realise that opportunity at the time until you look back on it. Because even me at Livy, obviously we were Championship, and I was a young boy coming through. Some of the players we had, like Snoddy, Dons, Murray Davis and Dave Mackay. So I wouldn't have got the opportunity I got until the club got demoted to the bottom league. So then I look back at it even now and think, I was so lucky that the club actually did go down to that, because then I'm playing first team football at 15, 16.
That is it. People talk about this youth system and that.
Aye.
See, if you're sitting there with millions of these players getting that chance, they'll know.
And I was so close to leaving.
Yeah.
So we seen the club went down and basically everybody's contract was null and
so
void.
you were there with Keegs, you would have been there.
Keegs, all the brothers were there. Triplets were there, Keegs was there.
Bobo.
Oh, aye, I've told stories about Gary Bowen.
Oh no, Burton O'Brien.
Oh, sorry, no.
Bobo,
That's what we call Gary Bowen.
Aye, I know.
No, aye, so...
Just shows you every relegation, although it's not great for the club at the time, it benefits somebody within the club.
Nearly was there.
Somewhere.
Who?
Neil Hastings was there. He was obviously on Livy's first team staff.
Hasty was the year we stayed in the Championship. We beat Queen of the South, last kick of the ball. Danny Mullen got nudged with Queens. Can't remember, maybe Chris Higgins, something like that. Danny's through, sailed down. Soft pen. Kyle Jacobs scores it. We win 1-0 and we stay in the Championship. So Neely was there that year. Club had nothing. And I had to start dealing with all that, and like, you need to tell Neely or not. There was no money, nobody upstairs. I was lucky if I even seen anybody during the week. We stayed in the league that year, got relegated next year. League One, I can remember as clear as day. Boy, it was kind of running the club. Came and gave me a big bunch of keys and says, I'm off. I was like, with a big bunch of keys.
So what was your job at that stage? Were you in charge of the club?
Everything. For the last 6 years, I've basically done...
Because you were doing handyman stuff and all that as well, weren't you? Painting the lines.
I mean, everything. Done everything at the club. See, in the League One days and the Championship days, we'd be lucky if we had 2 folk in the boardroom.
Why did you want to take that on?
Well, I was in there at that point in time. I was learning to be a coach. I had a lot to prove to myself, but I was looking for an opportunity as well. Who's going to give somebody that's just come out of prison an opportunity in professional football? So I got that opportunity via default, because if Livingston were ran probably a little bit better and had more money, would I have been in there?
No, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't have been in there. So again, what Andy's saying as a player financially kind of really happened to me as well. And we Pats and all these players.
See, on the prison thing, I don't want to talk too much about it, but you're in there, you know you're coming out. While you're in there, are you thinking about like your future?
Aye, but I was at university, so when I got arrested in 2004, I was on bail for 2.5 years.
Right.
So I went to university for 2 years. I just kind of flipped my life upside down. I knew I couldn't keep doing what I'd been doing.
What did you study?
Project management. And that's really all I've done at the club for the last...
I was going to say,
I've project managed the football club, the full football club for the last 6-7 years. So I went there for 2 years and got jailed. I got arrested 2004 April, got jailed in October 2006. So I was at university for 2 and a wee bit years. Craig Gordon's dad was my football manager.
What was it?
Small world, eh?
What, in the jail?
Davy, no, in Harry Watt.
All right.
I didn't even know Craig's dad was a football
Aye,
manager.
Davy Gordon, and we had Ross Campbell, Dick's son.
Aye.
Ross used to
Ross,
play with
that's
me.
right,
Then Ross was my manager in the second year. So I met a lot of good people through being at Harry Watt. That was before the Orium at that time. The Orium was still a car park. So I played with the Harry Watt football team for a couple of years. But I just changed my life around that time. And then when I came out in 2010, I'd picked up university a wee bit when I was in my open estate. You know, like you go to your open. And then I went back into full-time university in 2010 and I graduated in 2012. So I graduated in 2012 and at that point, so I had plans like when I was in prison to finish my university degree, but I'd started that change in my life in 2004. Do you know what I mean? So I had no plans to be in professional football. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to go out and start playing football again.
I was speaking to the board of Levy to get into Levy. What was the what was the conversation for you to be in there? What was the reasons for going in there? Because you're not going in to say, I want to be the manager of this football team.
No, West Lothian, were you there when they had the foundation, Andy?
No.
West Lothian Youth Foundation.
That would have been after me.
Club never had a penny, so they started like a charity, like West Lothian Youth Foundation. It was a charity that basically was going to take over the academy because the club couldn't do it, never had money to do it, never had the resources, never had the people to do it. So they were looking for local people, and one of my pals worked with the big lottery, and he had been seconded to work with the West Lothian Youth Foundation. So he was in the club working every day to help the club, and he was dealing with different, like the chairman would come in, people like that, Gordon McDougall. He said, my pal's a local guy, get him in to give us a hand. He's done really well with the local clubs in Livingston over the years. So I went and had a meeting with him. Look, do you fancy coming in and give us a hand, a wee bit of sponsorship here? But I had a construction company, project management company. So I started doing wee bits and bobs in and around the stadium for nothing to help them out. But for that, I said, look, I want to come into training on a Tuesday and a Thursday morning, and I could still run my own business. Yep. So that's what I done on a Tuesday and a Thursday for probably a year until John left. And then when Mark got the job, I kind of was in Monday, Tuesday, Thursday mornings. And then when Hoppy got a job, that was me. I was in the club full time.
What did you enjoy doing? The football stuff or the financial stuff, sponsorship?
I don't really do, like, what do you mean? I've never done the financial stuff. I took a bit of sponsorship, so took a board.
Right.
But probably what I done is I put the flooring in the boardroom, fixed up the stadium, done loads and loads of different stuff, just general maintenance stuff. But I had a phone book of builders, like people, joiners, electricians, sparks, plasterers. Like I had a phone book for that because that was my background as well, project management, but it was construction based. So I had people in doing bits and bobs in the stadium.
Did you ever think about leaving at any point?
That's
a hell of a lot though, isn't it?
That's a lot to take on, and you're on your own business as well.
But I had to sack that when it became a full-time job at that point, like with Hoppy. I couldn't do it, my head was bursting. Couldn't do it, but we were League One, remember? Yeah. So see, really, in Scottish football in League One, it's no too different to what you guys are doing. Open goal. Like I was at Broxburn. I used to go to a gym on a Monday, train on a Tuesday, go to the gym on a Wednesday, train on a Thursday, have a rest day on a Friday and play on a Saturday. It wasn't really much different for playing with Livingston in League One. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If you're trying to do the job right yourself, so it wasn't there a huge difference for me.
Coaching, you get into the coaching side of things and you're working then with Hoppy, do you then potentially see a future? You think we could actually do this? Or did you just still kind of play it by ear, see how it goes from a day to
every
day?
Day, game to game. Always.
One of the reasons I'm asking these because like Simon's obviously got an opportunity in Broomhill and stuff, and I'm now starting to apply for things that are coming up at lower level, junior level and stuff.
I've just took every day, one day at a time.
And I just look at it and think, if you get an opportunity, sometimes it might not be the right, but sometimes you've just got to start somewhere.
I wasn't sure about going into Livingston, and see, probably some of the best decisions in my life, I've not always been overly sure of them. I'm not sure about that, but I'll go and get a try, I'll go and get a bash.
Think about that this morning?
What's that?
Coming on
Think
here.
about it coming on here this morning?
I've been thinking about that for a couple of years. But nah, I've just took it one day at a time. Yeah. But I think that's your mate. See, being on bail for 2004 to 2006, the first thing you think about when you wake up is go to jail. Yeah. The last thing you think about, go to bed, is go to jail. Like you're seeing your partner at the time, I had my son at the time, so looking at every day, I have to tell your son, look, Dad's not going to be here, but I couldn't tell him that. It was 2.5 years, and I think that built a mental resilience in me. Yeah. And it kind of changes how I approach life in a football. I just, one day at a time, I can't affect the past. If I get beaten Saturday, you know how hard that is, isn't it? It's horrible. It ruins your weekend. But you know what? You go back in the Monday, I can't affect Saturday, but I can affect this Saturday. And that's kind of how I've just took it in football. Do
you ever speak to anybody that you were in the jail with?
I used to quite a lot, but see, to be fair to boys, I think boys have took a wee bit of a step back because they don't want to be a burden on me. I think I'll get a text, I'll get a tweet, stuff like that. But when I first came out, we were really close with each other because it becomes your family. Because you spend every waking minute with each other, 24 hours a day. It becomes your family. Like,
sorry, David. Obviously, Livy's been great for you, and you've been great for Livy. But have you said goodbye to them now that you're going to Rangers, or?
Nah, it'll not be me. I can guarantee you that one.
Seen the rumours.
Seen the rumours at one stage.
Aye.
Nah. No.
Why would it not be you though? Seriously?
I don't think the Rangers Football Club going to come for David. I don't think so.
Why not?
I don't think so. Well, why would?
What, because of your past life?
Yeah.
Oh, really, right?
I think, right, see how I look at life, right? So if I sit here and we're on camera and we speak, give me your views on immigration. Maybe not so much you guys, because you don't really care. Right? But if you ask somebody in social media a kind of question that's a wee bit on edge, right? They probably give you the political answer. Yep. They'll come across, the immigration, there's a good one, right? And they'll come out and say, well, see if you were sitting having a coffee, somebody does your name, they probably have a different view, but they're not willing to put it on social media. So how I relate it to me, everybody thinks that's a great story, David Martindale's a great story, but they want David Martindale, the ex-convicted drug dealer.
Everybody's willing to say great on Davey for turning his life around and that.
Yes.
But in our establishment, he's no your cup of tea.
See, for me, Rangers and Celtic are global football institutions, Like the Aberdeen, Dundee United, Edinburgh Hearts, they're big clubs in Scottish football. And the rest is a decent size, but you'd probably say we're smaller clubs. Rangers and Celtic are global institutions. And I'm happy with that. I can relate to that. I've made my bed and I'll lie in it, and I can understand that.
His man still makes his bed.
Every morning.
Aye, but for £1 a month.
But based on football, you should get it. Based on football.
I agree with you.
But do you still see yourself at Livy for years to come? I think you were linked to Fleetwood at one stage, weren't you?
Aye, I've spoke to Fleetwood, but it wasn't quite right for both parties. I've had a bit of interest in Scotland, and I've had a bit of interest down south, but see, for me in football, I think the structure's got to be right behind the scenes for you to get it right on the park. And I'll use Hearts. I think Hearts have got it bang on, the structure behind the scenes. I think it's a fantastic club. I spend a lot of spare time going to Hearts games. I stay in Stockbridge with my wife and we won the boardroom at Hearts. You done it?
No,
I've not done it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I got up, they all know your name. It's like, it's not a shirt and tie. You can go up, smart but casual. You're up there, you're in with all the boards of both clubs. There's a wee bit of hospitality, all the scouts, managers of other clubs. It's brilliant. I think Hearts have got it right behind the scenes, and that then gives the players in the park a great opportunity to success.
Trickles down to the pitch.
And then I think, and I'm not want to start naming clubs, but you start looking at certain clubs and the ownership models and the structures in Britain. There's not actually a lot of clubs out there now that you go, do you know what? I'll be able to implement, they'll give me 2 windows to get it right, because I'm a big believer, you're going into a club, you're generally going into a club because they're not doing well, really. Very few jobs that you're going in when the manager's left because he's been successful. It's generally because he's been sacked because they've not had success. So you need windows to make that right. Do you get that now?
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to get the Rangers job?
think
Michael
Mick's got
Beale,
a good chance.
Do you know,
I've not spoken to Mick since that, and I wouldn't speak to Mick since that, but we're going down to play them on Tuesday. So we're going down to QPR to play them at Loftus Road. Whether it's Mick, whether it's no Mick, I don't know. But for me, I look at all the names getting mentioned. I think Sean Dyche would be
good.
A fantastic... I'd love to see a British manager get a job. And I don't mean that ain't against foreign coaches. You've probably seen it, Andy, in your career when foreign players come in. Unbelievable ability. It doesn't necessarily translate in a Saturday, does it?
No. I think training's completely different for
intensity
foreign
of
players,
the games and the style they play, everything's different. Like, but if you've got a British manager who knows British football, I'm not saying a British manager, but somebody that knows British football, even maybe look at Pedro, that could probably say, right, you there?
It could be here all
You
day.
there? I know, but is that
He's
Pedro's
wanting to get it again.
fault? Is somebody coming in for a totally different culture?
But then you look
But
at Ange though, at Celtic.
I know, but Ange, I would then say the Australian culture's no far off a British culture.
Well, you look, that's probably why a lot of British clubs are going to that market now, or Scottish
Do you
clubs
know what I mean?
specifically.
So you look at that, and then Ange's got history working with players in Japan, so he's recruiting what he knows, but he also understands British football.
Yeah.
And I think, looking at it, Mick, he knows the board, he knows the club, he knows the players. So does that give him a better chance of success in the short term than, let's say, someone coming in for the Belgium top flight? I think it does.
I also think
it
as
does.
well, like, I think he would get the best out the players he's got now, which I think is big. Because I don't actually, I might be wrong, but I don't think that if he does get the job in January, he's not going to get 10 million to spend. It's
I
not
don't
going to
think
happen.
so.
Like, he might get a budget to bring in a
You
couple
look
of players, but your
you
Tabs,
look
your Kents, your Moreloses, I think you'll get the best out of them again.
Yeah, I think so. I think I just look at different styles of playing. I think Gio done look at what he done to him in a European Cup final. But you look at his styles of play between when it was Stephen and Mick, I found it easier to manage against Gio, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. Whereas Kent had a lot more freedom under Mick and
Coming
Stephen,
inside,
and he was difficult. Whereas Gio was probably more the Dutch model with out and out wingers.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure Rangers had out and out wingers that could play that system. Whereas under Stephen and Mick,
Well, they
and,
definitely did
and
in the right.
Gary, they were playing with Hadji coming in, inverted wingers, Kent coming in. Kent could be out in the right, he could be through the middle. He was a lot more effective than standing out there. When the ball went out there, we can then go and engage with your fullback.
I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but it seemed to me that every time you played Rangers this year, it was, we're happy for your back four to have it. We're happy to force you down the line and let you cross the balls in the box. But any time you try and play through the mid areas, we'll be in a shape. When it gets in the area, we'll make contact. Was that pretty much your setup?
I think if you look at it, whether you want the ball as far away from your goal. This is for you.
Thanks,
help
mate.
you out here. But you
Coming
do,
there,
where
for
would
me,
you
aye.
rather the ball was coming through the middle of your defence, coming through, I call that zone 3. So we zone the park off. So zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone
Need to
2,
change
1.
it.
Do you know what I mean? But
The zone's going to
He's
change.
not having that.
You're better than that. You're one of us. The zone's going to
See why I do it, but I think it makes coaching a wee bit easier for players
For players
because
to
it
understand.
lets you understand where you're wanting them.
Yeah.
And that's what we can. Don't get me wrong, it's difficult on the AstroTurf trying to zone it out at times. 500 cones. Do you know? But it's difficult at times, but it's just to give them. So if we can keep the ball outside the 18-yard area, realistically, it's probably the area, the part that the opposition give you. Every opposition will give you that because you're strong through the middle. But again, the chances of scoring for that area of the park statistically are very low. So,
See, in terms of coaching, do you still go and watch other coaches?
no, I've never really been into
Never done
watching
that.
other coaches.
So where did you get kind of your philosophy on football? I know you didn't like that
playing.
word, but just through.
Just playing. I actually think one of the things that's helped me in football, and people probably don't like me for saying this, is I never done a coaching badge for 6 years at Livingston.
Kev will love that when you Kev.
I agree with him.
And I don't mean it like
think
that,
that
right? But
be all
one,
in,
I was be able to learn. So I learned off Birchie, I learned off John, I learned
Hopkins.
off Hoppy. But you learn as you go. You adapt, you grow, you develop, you progress. I think Twitter, I use Twitter for football, a lot of footballing information. The access you get to Twitter, the information that's on that now is incredible. Access to like maybe even Pep's stuff, just wee bits and bobs. So you pick stuff up as you go along, and you pick stuff off of opposing managers.
What I wanted to ask you, what's the difference between coaching, managing League One players and Premier League players?
Do you know what? I used to sit in League One and go, I can't wait to get to the Championship and we have another 200 quid a week. God, it's so different. You can just get a different type of player. Then I go to Premier League and I thought, as in the champ, I'm like, this is just the same. I can't wait to get to the Premier League, to spend a wee bit more money and get a better player. I've found that it's generally just been the same. What I've found incredible is, I think coaching the basics in football's gone. I think academy structures are wrong. I don't agree with the academy systems. I'm getting told you've got to do X, Y and Z to qualify for solidarity payments, and you've got to do X, Y and Z to be an academy. That doesn't necessarily suit us. I think it should be bespoke for that club.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to have 11s, 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s, 18s. I've got to have that. I've got to have that. I don't want kids in me at 11, 12, 13, 14.
What do you want them to play boys club?
I want them playing boys club. I want them playing with the schools. I want them playing with the county. I want them playing with Scotland schools. I want them out in the streets playing football with their pals. They're in an academy.
That takes it away, doesn't it?
4 nights a week you're in the academy, and I think it gets coached out of them.
Yeah.
I think it gets coached out of them
now.
now.
I did last week, keep running this one course. Statistically, they were saying that by putting all the best players together, because there's some clubs out there that genuinely go and handpick boys from pro youth to have a team, and then obviously the pro youth teams do that, handpick the players. Statistically, they say that it doesn't necessarily mean that by putting all the good players together actually makes them any better.
What was it?
It's shown that if they've got 2 or 3 good ones in the team and 3 or 4 mixed ones in the team and a couple of the other, they just achieve the same anyway.
For me, like, it was the big one they came through with, was it Bertie Vokes, and who was the other technical boy, the German boy?
Was it that Mark
Votes,
something
something
like that?
10,000 hours of football, 10,000 hours, right? I guarantee, I don't maybe know so much you there, Andy, I don't know, but I guarantee we played 10,000 hours of football out in the streets. We were pals against the other scheme, against the other streets. Now you're getting 10,000 hours of football in an academy.
I've said that. I think my generation's the last generation. I think it was the last generation of that. I think you actually don't see people play football on the streets anymore.
No,
never.
Computers not that new though, innit?
It is, but
phones and all that, it's different.
Football's repetitive, right? But what you didn't realise as a kid, by going out in that street and kicking that ball against the wall,
you found a way to win.
You did that, but what you were doing was repetitive, constant repetition. You were working your keep your eyes one day with your mates, I got 20, I got 25. But what you didn't realise was you're working your touch. When you were starting like shooting constantly the guys' fins and break the windies, you're working your shooting. You don't realise that what's happening now is they go to academy a day, an hour or an hour and a half at night, and then they go home and that's it, done with.
That's your 4 nights a week, 3 nights a week.
Go and play the computer, so...
But how do we change it though? Because that is what we're saying.
Offence, sorry.
You're not, I don't think you're
do you know what I mean? But how do you change?
Repeat.
See,
and I'm not going to get
yes. So how, what was your YTS?
I was boys club into YTS.
Right, so for me, when you hit 16, you got your YTS, you went to pro football. That for me, and whatever you done the 4 or 5 years previous, you might be training with Celtic, training with Rangers, playing with Celtic, but you still stayed at your boys club. And for me, that worked. And you played with the schools, you played with the county, and the best players played with Scotland. That worked. That worked for me.
The parents love the idea that, my boy's in at Celtic.
What's the chance of success? Yeah, is it 1%?
No, it's
something along the lines.
I think I read a start.
0.69 on it.
The chances of becoming a Premier League footballer or something like 0.0025%.
Wow.
See for us, we had a reserve team and every one of our reserve players were out playing Lowland League or East of Scotland League. See, for me, that's success. Because how many are going to go and play top level football? Very, very few. But see if we can bring these boys and develop these boys and keep them involved in
the game.
Football, SPFL football. I've got wee Jays out at Morton, wee Brian out at Morton. For me, Carlo never quite made it with us, but he's playing championship football full time with Morton. For me, that's success. He's not made it at Livingston, but he's made it in football and he's got an opportunity to still play football. That's success.
So would you try and think that maybe invest more in grassroots coaches rather than at boys clubs, rather than hell bent on getting, I don't know, I'm trying to use an example, like...
But again, if we're all getting told how to coach, this is how you
that's a problem,
coach.
So what badges have you done now, Dave?
I'm on my pro licence in May. So I came out of prison and I done my old C licence in 2010. That was one of the first things I done at Stirling Uni. It's called the club coach at that point. It was valid to 2018 and then you went on your B licence. In between all that, the pathway keeps changing. Kept changing. I was working, I was in at Livingston. I went to go on my B. Can I get on your B licence? Can I get on your B licence? How no? Oh, it's a C licence you need. I said, but this one's valid to 218, so how can I not get on my B? No, you need to go back to the start. And I'm at Livingston, and you've got 4 weeks in a season. 2 weeks you spend with your family on holiday, because it's the only time you see them. And I had 2 weeks to try and do badges every year. I had to go and do my 1.1, my 1.2, and this is when I'm in the Premier League at Livingston. 1.1, I done it at the back of Tynecastle, and I done one at the Orium. 1.3, then I went on my C licence, and I got kicked off it after 3 days because they said I failed my PVG. So I done my C licence, kicked me off that. Then Holty was at Livingston at that point, and Holty said, do you want me to email the Irish FA for you? I said, oh, please, can you? So he emailed them, and they invited me on. I'd done my A and my B licence over a 2-year period, and then I'm on, you've got to, there's a year in between now. I'm on my pro licence in May.
Was it not star-studded, one of your licences?
Aye, I didn't know who anybody was. I didn't have a clue who they were.
You said Lewis Garcia was on it though?
Lewis was on it, Gabby Agbonlahor, Craig Gardner, Bruno Salts. Bruno's now first team coach at Chelsea. Bruno played with Brighton.
Right.
Chris Samba. There was loads of them. I never had a clue who anybody was. This wee Scottish guy in there shouting at him. Get out of here. Try to tell Lewis Garcia how to attack wide areas. And it was about 3 days on the course, and Craig Gardner came up to me, and he's like, how you doing? I'm Craig, whatever. I said, hi, how you doing? He said, I'm quite friendly with Graham at Rangers, Graham Park. I think they played a lot of golf together. I went, all right. And he said, Graham said you're in at Livingston. I'm like, aye. So I struck up a wee bit of friendship with Guards. And Guard's like, that's him. He's telling me who all these players are. I never had a clue I genuinely never had a clue who any of them were.
You're just finishing your early touches?
I done that years ago. Pardon?
He's just finishing his early touches?
Yeah, 1.1.
No, it's no coaching, but...
See, I had a brilliant...
Is that a winky?
I had a brilliant story, by the way. You used to work in at Ibrox. Was it fitting sort of computer systems, software?
I done all the turnstile systems in
but
Ibrox.
You were in Walter Smith's office. I'll let you talk. In Del Piero's book, I just wanted to get that in.
I was member Rangers, Del Piero, Juventus days.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? It was a big dossier. We were doing the night shift, so we were putting all that. It was the cabling in for all the turnstiles. The first time they were going cardless, ticketless. So we were going into the card, and we were doing the night shifts, and I was in charge of the job. And I remember just sitting in Walter, because we had to put data points in his office. There was a big thing on Del Piero having a wee flick through it. That was, when was that? That'd have been about 2000, 2002, something along the lines, between 2000 and 2004.
Did you get a chance to meet him when you were doing that?
No, never. We were night shifts, so we were all away. But usually during the day we'd go in. What was it? So you're in the dugout, you're looking at the far right, Andy, the glazed bit under one of the screens. So if you're in the dugout and you're looking across the park,
the Ibrox suite?
Aye, the corner one.
Far right corner.
The corner on the right, that was just getting built, and I'd put all the data points in there. And we were in there, like, guys, come on, like, you need to be out here for 5 o'clock. We've got a Champions League game tonight. I need balls, shut the doors. We all sat in, rubbed the window lean off the windows, and we'd sit and watch the football when Rangers were playing the Champions League.
Brilliant,
that was the first time when that was getting built, and that must have been 2000, something along the lines.
See, in terms of, sorry to hand you, mate.
No, you go, sorry. Well, I was going to go back to the Livy days. No, it was brilliant when you obviously used to get jobs when you were younger. See, when you used to get the turnstile at the weekend, you knew you were making about 40 quid at least. See, any time it was cash payment at a turnstile, like 20 quid. 15 for the club, 5 for me.
I think that
You'd
was
make
the
about 40
directors.
quid a weekend.
That was one of the directors that was doing that.
So you talk about jobs, you were doing that. You talk about jobs that you've done at Livingston. I seen you fixing the crossbar. What's kind of the fucking strangest job you've done at Livingston?
Fixing the crossbar. That crossbar one, that was a nightmare one. Sitting looking at Malky, what's going on there? What's happened to that crossbar? So I've got 3 boys in the club, maintenance boys, right? They all came to me. This was 6 years ago. The job centre came and went, they need to come and work with you for 6 months or they're getting their money stopped. 2 of them. So I brought them into the club as volunteers for 6 months. They've been with me now for 6 years.
That's the same with him and this.
I could get you in. Can you still sign on?
Sometimes.
He's not getting paid for this.
Was it proper noticeable, the crossbar? Like, could you notice it for you?
What was he? Were you
just
not
looked
swinging on it the day before it?
This is not big stretch, went up and grabbed the top of it and hung off it. So I'm like, how's this? Because we'd been training, so I'm like, it wasn't like that. How's that? So I'm saying the kids must have broke in and done something. But the more and more I went down to the crossbar, so the 3 maintenance boys are there, and I'm looking at it going, by the way, that's how has this happened? But I was concentrating on the game and trying to get the game on. Got hydraulic jacks and all that, try to jack the bar back up, but anyway, wasn't he? So it wasn't after the game, I'm thinking about it, I went, nah, that wasn't my, nobody's done that, it's physically impossible. So we had a cherry picker in the week before, and I had the guys down taking signs down. So I've sent a message, so I've got a maintenance chat, it's me and the 3 guys in the maintenance, so at night, I'll check they've done all their jobs, and in the morning I'll give them all their jobs for the rest of the day. So big message, I said, look guys, you need to be honest with me here. One of yous have done this with the cherry picker because I could tell it was hydraulic. You've not done that with brute strength. The bar was buckled, it was like cut.
You don't get camera in there to check, no?
No, so I was got, that would be the next one, put all the cameras in so I knew I could check. So, message back, one of the maintenance boys, I'm really sorry, I didn't think you would notice it. It was like that. It was like a big cut at it.
Why did
so
you
he's
do
had it with the cherry picker, hasn't he? So when you're coming down with the cherry picker, the hydraulics in the cherry picker snapped it nearly in half. And he said, 2 weeks ago he'd done it, 2 weeks before the game.
That's quite dangerous, but imagine big stretch and goes and
And he's went, I meant to tell you, but I forgot, and it just snowballed for there, and I was too scared to tell you. I said, if you told me I could have fixed it. So luckily we had a game on the Saturday. I phoned up Harrods, it's the sports equipment supplier, and he sent me 2 new crossbars up. So I've got one lying ready to go.
I'll come help you. Me and you'll do it together.
What are you going to do with it?
The taps off.
How'd you put it up, then, if you put that crossbar up?
By the way, breaking news, David Martindale, manager of the month.
He's got wasp in his head.
Mate, what an achievement, though, not big and Jeffy's Pearce winning that one,
I
innit?
think he's the only one to win it in 2022, wasn't he?
We're sick of it.
No way.
So we're going
I didn't see that.
You're coming back up to interview him?
10 months.
We'll be interviewing.
I don't know if
Aye,
I'll
but remember
I'll be allowed to come up.
But I thought Gio
Wasn't
might
that
have
like
won
5
it.
or 6 awards?
No, Gio won it. Gio did win it. We never got
Did
in
they
the
win it?
interview.
Oh,
They
that's
didn't
right.
let us
No,
in the interview, but,
that's right.
They
he
don't
won
let
it
you
1
in?
month. No, they would not.
You'll be
let us in the
interviewing
interview.
you, won't we?
But we need to do it at the
I
top.
couldn't
top
get
top
it.
half naked,
I
but-
wouldn't wear a tie. I wouldn't wear a shirt and tie. They phoned me. You want the job? I said, I'll take the job. And he said, need to wear a shirt and tie in every game. I said, no, I'm
Naked.
That's
You
why I never got
You
it.
get a bottle of Glenn's vodka as well, you know that?
I never got one.
No, you will.
No, you'll get me. I'm going to bring it
Oh,
up to you.
you can have it. You
No, do you want, well, why don't we sit?
I'm not a
Why don't we?
drinker.
Oh, you
do
know
you
me.
not drink?
Nah, coffee.
Do you not have a drink?
I will, I'll go out and have it. I don't go out. I've no drink.
I'll bring red wine up to you.
Maybe twice a year. I used to be out every weekend with Broxburn. That's why you played
That
level
level.
of football.
Is the
But,
days gone to get a wee wine with a manager after a game, man? Has that not happened?
COVID kind of killed a lot of that. Still, Robbie, you go and get. I don't drink. I'll go and get a coffee. I'll go and get a can of juice. Certain managers are trying to reintroduce it, but COVID killed everything. It killed everything. But do you know what? It's all right sometimes. It's difficult. Seeing you win a game of football and you go in, you're speaking to a manager. What did you say? You're unlucky to do. He must be thinking, you condescending bastard. But you're like, what can you say? But see if you've been beat, you go in and go, he's were decent today, and he's like, I know that. He's were unlucky.
Fake as fuck, innit?
Sorry, do you mind if I go a wee bit off topic here? 'Cause I'm not here
Whatever
days.
you want.
Please.
Me and you were involved in the maddest 90 minutes of football 2 weeks ago, in my opinion, with VAR
God.
completely taking over a game. How
did you not win that, though?
How mental was that game?
I look at it and I go, right. But when I watch Newbley's back, you go, right, I can see it. But seeing real time,
And nobody thought it was a pen,
I'm
did
not
they?
claiming for anything. But it's getting to the stage now where every hand, by the use probably we had 2 handballs that yous might have got.
I remember they won the first half.
Aye, and I don't think any of them are penalties. I don't think, maybe Newbley's, when you look at it back, I can see why it's stupid he rolled, but you look at it, you just didn't know what was going on.
I just felt as if in that game, mate, like
Anything could happen.
there felt as if there was like 20 VAR checks and every one of them took at least 30 seconds, at least.
The,
So
the
do you not
maddest
like it,
one was
Davey?
Cochrane's, pardon?
Do you not like the VR?
I was all for it, but I think it's now officiating the game, and I don't think that's what it's for. I don't. If
Correct mistakes.
it's like handballs, like you look at the handball, and you're like, no, every handball's a penalty.
Aye, it's the handballs that's getting me now.
It can't be, but one interpretation of it's different. Now, see if we're just going to say every handball, We'll make sure every handball's a penalty then, so we're on the same page. But it's interpretations of the handball.
But I think like people don't realise like it's not that referees aren't getting criticised. It's just the way VAR is, because they're following a law book, they're following a rule book. And I think what managers and players are saying now is there's too many teething problems, and with Scotland especially, when we waited that long to get it in, that should have been sorted before VAR actually came in place.
Can you give me an example of handball?
You want one?
Cup it.
What's the handball? Sorry, what's the handball for you?
No, but listen, the handball is absolutely busy in the wind against.
Handballs when your mum's away at work, and you're left in the room yourself, and you've not got a girlfriend. Have you got a girlfriend?
Couple.
Have you? I genuinely thought you two were partners.
He said that,
We're tight, aren't we?
I did.
What is your favourite search? What would you go if you went?
When I first went into Berlin, and he put the gloves on. Is that
That's a proper search.
By the way, the job you've done with Big Nubla said £1 million striker.
No, 100 grand, mate.
You're saying he's going to be £1 million, and I think you're spot on. He's got everything.
Have you got a favourite player you've coached? Is that can you not say that over the years?
No, it's probably not a favourite player. No, you've never really had them, because there's a lot of coaching goes on at our club. So when you come in, and this is like, we're talking about this, like, see when you look at clubs, you look at me personally, I look at managers and go, does he make players better? That's for me is the sign of a good manager. So we put a lot of emphasis on coaching. Go home with a migraine. I don't know what it's like yourself, but you go home sometimes, your head's bursting. You're constantly, repetition's huge. I think repetition is, you've got to have repetition in your coaching, but you coach players, so there's nobody ever comes in, you go, oh, by the way, we've got a player here. You've got the raw attributes to make a player. Maybe Shinnie, because Shinnie's a different kind of player. We've got Shinnie later on in his career when
good
he's
player,
been coached. There's a lot of coaching there. But we've had to adapt Shinnie to suit our style of play also, which Shinnie's found difficult at times as well. But there's probably no, but I look at managers and say, do they make players better? And I look at Ange. I think you can hand in heart look at Ange and go, I think he's made every Celtic player
look at Greg
better.
Taylor boys up there before.
But he's made them better, and for me that's a sign of a good manager.
Well, I think even though you mentioned Nubly there, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way at all, but if you look at his Wikipedia, he's had more clubs than Tiger Woods. And then he's obviously went to Livy, got a fit, and he's
last year in the Premier League we had James Penrice, League One. We got him for Partick Thistle in League One, but I knew him for Livingston. I had him on loan previously. I had Io Obolai, who'd played a year with Queenie South, but 6 years with down south in non-league.
He was at Chelsea as a kid,
right? But 6 years non-league, somewhere along the line. So there's a lot of bad coaching points you've got to do at these players. Right? That's just part of the back four at that point. Do you know what I mean? And then you Big Nubly, who was 6 years at Aldershot or 6 years non-league. So there's a lot of coaching. So I thought with Nubly, I need to fast track him, get him used to Scottish football as quick as possible. So we're better to do that and with Dick Campbell, because you know what Dick does? He does the basics well. He doesn't look for you to do anything special. He wants you to go and do the basics properly.
His Dick doesn't do the basics well. Your Dick doesn't it though, does it, Sonny?
See every sexual word you use, does he just laugh?
I love it.
Dick, no, my gran's called Fanny. Look, I hear him.
Yeah, see your recruitment, no? The recruitment's incredible.
Brilliant, isn't it?
But it's all over the world, though.
Do you do that yourself? Sorry, sir.
But it's all over the world, though.
And that's
the crazy
class is the world, Europe.
No, but even I got a guy from India, Australia. It's mad, that, innit? Have you?
Guy from India?
I thought I seen an Indian flag.
No, we had that. No, we've not got enough. I don't think I've signed any Indian.
How do you do your recruitment, David?
Just, I've got, like, for day one, every agent that's always contacted me, I've always kind of made contact with them. So I've got hundreds of agents putting players into me. And the players come into me, I'll have a wee look at them, I'll look at their transfer market, then you'll look at them in Y-Scout, Instat. We now use StatsBomb, which is decent. So I just kind of look at it. Now I've got wee Andy's in the club, so I've brought somebody in to kind of help me out with it, and I push. I look at them and I bang them to him and I say, he knows what I want, he knows how I work, and if they're worth spending the next hour, 2 hours on, we'll come back to you. But it's easier. I think the chance of success is someone who's played British football.
Yeah.
The chance of success is far greater than bringing foreign players in, because I've brought players in from everywhere around the world other than India.
I'm sure
The one you mentioned.
I'll look at that market now.
It's
Do you think I
I
should?
know it's an orange, white and green flag, genuinely. It was like Indian flag.
Ivory Coast.
No, it wasn't it? I'll show you, right?
Ireland.
Don't get I'm not to see what's on your phone. Look, how many phones is he
When
got?
did you first see
Is he
Dyke?
kicking about Duke Street with 3 phones?
When did you first see Dykes?
What's that? An iPhone 3?
Yeah, wait, maybe Nupley? No, but see here, Davey, see with Nupley, it's almost the same
I
sort
want you
of...
to call me gaffer because I think you're going to come and work for me now.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Seriously?
Aye, so no Davy, cut the Davy shit.
Dave, need to let that
What are
go
you gonna
now.
get?
That's
Dave,
big,
what?
that's
Get used
for
to it,
you,
gaffer, every time you say Davy, it's a $5 fine.
What's the job you're gonna give him?
No, he's going to say something, you'll feed him up, he
You
says
could
something
maybe
after.
jump in with the maintenance staff to start with just to get
The computer, download the software. Figure the stuff I'm getting on the staff computers.
I'll get your computer.
That's
Get
just
your
something.
computer.
But see the job you've done with Dykes, I'm seeing it now with
Does he
Nupley.
ever finish a sentence?
Do you know what I
He's
mean?
gonna now watch this. He's gonna now. Right,
Yeah,
ask
no,
his question. Like, wait
It's
till you hear his
almost the
question. It's gonna be
same,
brilliant.
what I've seen with Dykes and the path he went, I'm seeing the exact same with Nupley. He went to the championship, got to be tested. I know he was at the championship Dykes where he came for, and I'm now seeing that
See,
with
you've done
Nupley.
your research.
Well done, man.
I have, and I
You're
need to
no
get
lying to me.
that, and I need to get this player up because it's annoying me because I genuinely
Well, you
did
need
see
to get
it.
the flag up.
Maybe right, why don't you go with Dykes and Nupley, please, if you don't mind me
What do you
saying.
want me to tell you?
So see Dykes in the championship. Have you got a scout going out to championship games, or does somebody just
No,
recommend
played
you?
against them.
Right.
Played against them for a couple of years. I remember I was talking about this a couple of days ago. Ryan Hardy, you would have been at Rangers probably, Andy. Ryan Hardy was away with Scotland 21s, and he was playing strange in automobiles to get back. This is a game that reminds me of Dykes. So Ryan, Scotland 21s, when they let him go, he was trying to get back early. He got back, I put him on the team sheet, he arrived at the ground, I think the game had 20 minutes had gone and Ryan Hardy's ran in. Do you know Ryan?
Aye,
Just
he was at
wants to
Rangers, I
score
was there.
goals, eh? Just wants to play football and score goals. Put him on the team sheet, I'll be there. He's been in planes, trains, everything to get to the game. So he's got to the game, but big Decky's marking London. London's playing off the left-hand side. Dobie's up front, Decky's right centre half. Big London's getting Decky a bit and Decky's biting. Decky bites at absolutely everything.
Played with Decky as
But,
well.
London's quite chilled, but he's a hardy guy at the same time, so he's laughing at him and that. And that's the first time he caught my eye. Thought he's a handful. So after the game, anyway, we're 2-0 down, and Hardy's went on at half time, scored 2 goals, brought us back to 2 each.
Wow.
He's done everything he can to get back for Scotland 21. So after the game, I'm talking to Decky, Lithgow, and Halkett. I said, what about him? I said, oh, he's a handful. He's a right handful. And that's where he caught my eye that game. I can remember it clear as day, watching that game. Got him into the office, like years later, a couple of years later, 18 months later. I said, look, big man, I'm looking for a number 9. I'm not a 9. I said, big man, I'm looking for a number 9. You're a number 9. And I eventually talked him into coming to beat Livingston to play as a number 9. Because he wasn't overly keen at the time, because he used to play off a side with Dobie, or in front of Dobie, and Dobie played off him.
It's mad because even looking at me, doesn't look like that.
He looks like nothing but a 9 now, doesn't he?
I
Huh?
know, but if you look at it, he's got a wee bit of everything, London. He's got a wee bit of everything. Good in the air, good pace, good delivery. No bad technique, so he could play off a side.
Because his scoring record wasn't great at Queen's either, was it, Davey?
No, but his assist record was phenomenal.
Yeah.
See that year in the chat, see that year with us? I let Stephen Lawley, London, first game, St Johnson, last minute penalty to win the game. London grabs the ball. This is our first game in the league, his first game as a striker in the Premier League, grabs the ball. Worst penalty in the world. Xander saves it. Draw, raging with him. You have pen. You're up. You've never hit one before, he says. You big
Why'd you grab the
bastard.
ball then?
You big bastard. Could have won that. We did 3 points. Put wee Stephen Lawless in the pens that season. 8 out of 8 he scored. Wee Steve. 8 out of 8 pens. Imagine London had 8 pens. He'd have been on 20 goals, 21 goals. Probably how much more would I got from? You'd have got what? Probably his data then, his stats then would have been 20 odd goals with so many assists.
Did you think he could have been a Scotland striker when you first got a hold of him?
Yeah.
You
No,
did?
when I first, I remember it was about 4 games into the season, I was talking to people at the club about it. He's £1 million plus, all day long, they're all looking at me like that. You're off your head. But I remember Rennie Mullenstein came to a game, they were wanting him for Australia, and he came to a game, so I grabbed a coffee with Rennie after the game, talked to Rennie, he's like, I really want London, spoke to London, and I remember sending Steve Clark a text, sorry Rennie, Steve Clark a text saying, look, Australia are all over him here. If you're thinking about it, you really need to have to. And fair play to Steve Clark, because I think Steve took a big punt on me. He hadn't really done a lot. In general terms and compared to some Scotland strikers.
I'm brilliant with Scotland,
And
wasn't he, the big man?
Steve took it, and I thought he'd done fantastically well. He left Livingston and we had 50 grand every Scotland appearance. Because I remember I was dealing with Les Ferdinand and he kept phoning me up and going, "You're an absolute nightmare." I'm saying, "Les, this is what I need. I'm not letting him walk out the building. We had him for another 2 years. And the money London probably could have earned us staying at Livingston. You could maybe have got European football. Do you know what I mean? It would have been a lot more than what we were getting offered. So we had a lot of add-ons. And it was 50 grand for every Scotland game up to a totally £250,000. He left Livingston and he started the next 5 Scotland games. I think Les was absolutely fuming. And he played for Scotland 1 game before. His next 5 games, Scotland games, was for Scotland.
Well, he scored about 3-1-0 winners, didn't he?
Played a huge part in taking us to the Euros, didn't he?
You still speak to him?
I speak to London all the time.
I think the big thing with Dykes at that sort of year at Livy was his performances against the Old Firm was probably the big thing of why
Brilliant, eh?
some
Newbury's
clubs
doing the
up
same
there.
now.
He's a wee bit similar.
Physical side.
What age is Nibley?
26.
Newbury in the first game of the season against Rangers, honestly, it was Ibrahimovic, mate.
Curtis Guffrey.
What did I like?
Curtis Guffrey's no an Indian name straight away.
Curtis
Curtis Guffrey can't be for India.
I get where he's going with the flag, but did you not think about checking that before you said it?
What is the flag? The round glass I-League?
Show the boys, I'm not.
Aye,
What's that
that is
flag?
India, no.
Sheldon Cooper here.
So do you think, could Newbley go and do what Dykes went
I
on
think
to do?
Newbley can go and play in the English champ.
Do you,
Yeah,
David?
100%.
that is India.
100%. I'm
So he's no
sure.
Indian, but he's came for the
Aye, he's
English
been
team.
Indian League.
Possession.
He's listening to this, he thinks Newbley could play in the English Championship
All
as
day
well.
long.
Yeah.
All day long. All day long. Probably, I'm not sure he's a 9, but he can play a 7, 11 or a 9. And that's the luxury with me. He can play either. I think his goal scoring record's getting better. He's working hard and he's finishing. An English champ, I think he could go and play right now for Rangers as a winger.
Do you?
All day long. All day long.
Did you find out?
I've not seen enough of him. I didn't get to watch enough games.
Let's say he plays, he can play in the right and he can play in the left, right? I think at this point in time he could go and play for Rangers in a wide area. I think Celtic have probably got the best wingers in the league. And I think Celtic have probably got the best squad in the league. But I think he can go and play. If you can go and play for Rangers, and I believe he could, if you could go and play for Rangers, you can go and play in the English champ.
Yeah.
Did you find out who the pundit was that said he was worth 100 grand?
Yeah, but I'm not going to say.
Keevans, wasn't it?
That was a good interview.
I tell you, whoever it is, he's not going on countdown because he's terrible with his numbers. He's missing a zero, Slaney.
£1 million all day.
How many zeros in a
6.
million? How many in 100,000?
6.
How can it be the same?
Go to there. Can I do a Q&A with him? What about getting to know David Martindale?
Go for
Can
it.
I
Go
do
on,
it?
take it away, mate.
Or you want to do your last
No,
question?
you do it, you go.
Right, you ready? You ready? Seriously
You
ready
tell
for
me
it?
to turn that fake fire on, I'm freezing.
I know, it's Baltic in here, mate.
Baltic in
innit? It's fucking-
Favourite moment in football? Quick fire.
Firhill getting promoted to the Premier League.
Brilliant. Favourite manager?
My favourite
Aye.
manager. Enjoyed my time with Hoppy.
Favourite meal?
Meal, not really got one. No too fast.
Need something for you.
Had 3 years
don't
in
move
prison,
up.
elite end.
Your hero? Grown up?
Davy Cooper.
Was he? Angriest you've ever been with game at half time or after a game?
It's a great one.
I like that. Aye.
Can
Too
you go,
many.
Davey? Can you go?
Absolutely too many. Motherwell, last kick of the ball last season when they scored to take us out the top 6. They go top 6, we don't. We battered them on the day. That's probably the angriest I've felt in football.
But were you angry at the boys if you said at the back?
I was angry at everything. Angry at the boys because of the manner of the goal we can see.
Was that a set piece?
So, we battered them. I mean, battered them. They scores, I think.
The 2-0 with 10 minutes to go or something?
Aye, they scored I think they scored a wee bit earlier than that, but I swear we battered them, right? They got ball falls to wee Adam Lewis, who's got one of the sweetest left foots in the club. Wee Adam squaffs it. All he stays put his side foot through it in the game's done.
Slattery scores for about 25
goes out
yards.
for a corner. It comes in. We don't win the first contact. We don't win the second contact. And the third contact hits Ricky Lamy in the face and goes in. And then you're you're done. It was just, I think when you lose a late goal, it wasn't the same as Tynecastle, but when you lose a late goal, your emotions are so high. but the significance of losing that late goal and losing the top six, and at that point, you're looking five clubs are getting Europe. You've got a right good chance here of getting European football, and that's probably the one thing at Livingston I'd love to try and rectify.
Brilliant. Best team you've came up against and best player you've faced?
Best team I've came up against. Do you know what? See the year Celtic won the league with Steven Gerrard's team, I thought they were brilliant that year. So the year before that, who was the manager before Ange when they won the league?
Lenny.
No, Rodgers. I think it was the tail end of Rodgers.
Yeah.
Rodgers won the league, but I thought the Rangers team was very, very good. And one player that I thought was an absolute standout.
Not be me anyway.
Do you know who really impressed me in the games against us was Kamara.
Glenn Kamara.
You've said that before.
Glenn Kamara is one of the best players I've played with.
And do you know what? It's one of the most frustrating things, and I don't mean this from a Rangers point of view. It's one of the most frustrating. It's seeing how poor he's been
this season.
Because I genuinely think I remember I was speaking to West Ham, right? I was at a West Ham game. I was speaking to Dave Sullivan's son, Dave Sullivan. I remember telling him, you need to have a look at people like I saw in Scotland, Glenn Kamara, people like that, because I genuinely at that point thought he could go down and play like Ryan Christie, these, John McGinn.
Yeah.
Now you're not telling me Glenn Kamara and John McGinn, when they were both in Scottish football, do you know what I mean?
Didn't make the same impact.
Look like John's done in the English Premier League, Ryan Christie even, and Glenn Kamara for me, but it's just disappointing to see.
Can I give you a big early shout, David? If Michael Beale does get the job, Glenn Kamara will be in the team every week. He'll be in the team every week.
Do you know what? And you could probably say this about a few Rangers players. Ryan Jack as well. I thought Ryan Jack was brilliant. Steve Davis. You could go through them all, and there's been probably a slight decline. And I think Gio, his staff wasn't quite right. I don't know, was there too much of a Dutch element to the full coaching staff?
Do you feel then if there's that many, so say it was Livy and a number of players were underperforming, would you put that more down to yourself? You must be doing something wrong.
I think so. Who else takes the slack? Who else is that? I'll blame the director of football, but that's me. So no, but I think, see, me, recruitment's so important in football. It's so important. I think that's where Hearts are doing very well again. Yeah. You've got the structure and the strategy right behind the scenes. So your player recruitment and your coaching staff. But ultimately you carry the can for all of it, don't you? So if players are underperforming, I think it falls on you. You've got to go and get the best out of the players, and you'll probably be finding that now. It's a lot more difficult than sitting as a pundit on a couch saying, how's that not happening?
But even what you said earlier kind of gives me hope as well, because we've had a wee bit of a bad patch in terms of results, but when you said that, I actually sat and thought, have we made players better since they've come in?
You?
I think we have.
Well, as long as you think you have, you probably have. But again, if you've got a process and a structure in at the club, I think you've got to trust that process. Unless you've got the biggest budget in the league, or one of the biggest budgets in the league, I don't think you've got any divine right to go out and win every game of football. So you're going to lose games of football. So in football, it's probably dealing with the lows more than the highs at clubs like ourselves.
100%.
Dave, on you go.
See, on your recruitment, your man goes away and identifies things, comes back with the different platforms you can look at. So you've then identified somebody you think, right, okay, he's then, what's your next stage? Do you then try and find out, some managers...
If it's a British-based, right, if it's a British-based player, and you can get information on any player, any player, but seeing it's boys, I've got a boy coming in, he's been championship in England, he's French, he's moved for £18 million and he flies in the day to go on a 2-week trial with me.
No way.
9 million moves he's had, right?
Played in the English Championship?
Aye, but I know it's probably a wee bit unfair on the kid, right? But anybody that's not been in at that level of football, I can't get information. I just tell them to come in and try him. You need to come in and try. I can't waste £1,000 a week and get it wrong.
Do you go for looking at finding a wee bit more about them as a person and personality? Is that
always meet them? Aye. Like, Asma came in, Asma played Scottish football, so I knew people that knew him, but I wanted to see in my eyes, but he really wanted...
What's that? Shot myself there,
so does that, man.
Who brought the line
That's
in?
my missus.
Davey's dug in it.
What's happening here?
Right, Davey, what riles you up, pit hate?
You.
Anything else before you met me? And about fit-up players?
Are you a football player?
No, In your fucking own team.
Right, what riles me?
Aye. Was that petty hate of yours?
Boys that, and they don't, because we're very good at it, but boys that don't come in and give it everything every day. We put a lot of demands on them. There's a lot of intensity on them, and I think just come in and train. Just come in and train your hardest, get better every day. I know it's difficult because you wake up some mornings, it's hard, eh? And you'll probably see it before, boys, Andy, as a Scottish player based in a Scottish team.
I think training's just completely different for them, innit?
Aye.
I think ours is more physically demanding. I think European is a lot more tactical and slow, non-competitive stuff. But
can I just get you on camera again saying what your routine was when you played for Broxburn Junior, please? So you said you trained, so what, you went to the gym on a Monday?
Right, so you would, a Monday, I would make sure I was doing a gym session, a gym-based session. A Monday night, me and probably 3 or 4 of the players, I'd take them. We would go and do a gym session, Bannatynes. Tuesday we would train, Wednesday I'd do a gym-based session, and a Thursday we would train. And then when I went to Livingston, I seen boys moaning, I'm like, I actually trained just as much as you. So see so my routine at Livingston now, boys will not get home to 3:30, 4 o'clock, and you'll probably speak to Nicky, we're big on double and triple sessions every day. I think Robbie was like that in the Championship. I don't know so much now.
No, we still do it sometimes. We're at least 2 gym sessions a week. If it's Saturday,
minimum,
Saturday, that is.
Minimum. So we're like that. We're probably in relation to where Livingston was. Broxburn never done that much less than Livingston, and I think you can make it up. But for me, you're doing your 2 football-based sessions a week. I don't think that's enough if you're serious about
that's
football.
what message we try to put across as well, Damien.
Come on, you can't be. You're kidding yourself on. And I think the top players are the top players for a reason. Yes, the ability's here, but you know what? And I say this to players, it's not all right doing some of the things right some of the times. You've got to do all of the things right all of the time.
Brilliant.
I think it's a life choice, no?
Yeah, of course it is.
It's a life choice. You've got to give up so much.
Short period of time.
12 years, let's say, give up.
Make a few sacrifices.
12 years, you've got to give up.
Yeah.
Potentially have that.
Do you know what I mean? I say to the boys, like, I'll give you 2-3 nights out a year. I'll give you, go and do what you've got to do, but don't be going out at the weekends getting pissed. It doesn't help pennies. And I try and turn it into the changing room. You're letting them down. You're not just letting me down. We're letting each other down.
Brilliant.
We'll go away to Turkey. We've got 2 games in Turkey, and we've not got a game for probably 9 days after that. And we've been in since Wednesday, Andy. So we done Tuesday. So we done Tuesday, Wednesday, triple sessions. We're off a day. We're in Friday, Saturday. Travel to training Monday. Go to QPR on Monday. Play Tuesday, off Wednesday. Train Thursday, and we fly into Turkey. And the last night in Turkey, or one of the last nights, I'll let the boys go out. I'll let them go out. So we'll give you the odd night out now and again to go and do what you want to do, go and get a good laugh. But this is a choice, it's a life choice. By the way, it's my life. I'm not having players come in and underperform because they want to go to the weekends and want to get past. You want to go and find another club. You're not going to be with me.
Tremendous, love it.
Maybe
Right, next one.
that's
Oh
us.
no, wait, I want to ask you about Effie Ambrose.
Effie.
How was he to manage?
Oh, unbelievable. So funny. So I nearly brought Effie in my coaching staff, but he still wanted to play. So this is the God's honest truth. You got a tech ball table at Hearts?
Aye.
I'm undefeated, right? I'm the best.
Told you, it's got a bit.
Right, undefeated. I've not played it for a while, right enough, but undefeated. So Effie used to beat Effie all the time. Started off, it was horrific. I couldn't believe that man he played with Celtic. Honestly, I could not believe it. It'd be me, Dale, Marvin, Effie doubles all the time. Then it was me and Effie. I'd be like getting called up to board meetings. I'd beat him at first to 10, be up 4-0. He'd be standing outside the boardroom waiting on me, looking in the window, waiting on me, chatting with all that about, what is it, Effie? You have to play tech ball. You have to play tech ball. I swear to God, Fridays I had to kick him out the club. I said, I said, you're playing them all right, Effie. Away. All he done was following me about, media, everything, following him out of the club to play him at tech ball because he hated it. Because I used to beat him.
Bro, that's amazing.
But he's a great guy, honestly. He's a great guy.
What other good any other good personalities that you've managed that were funny boys?
There's loads, but I'm trying to think offhand. You put you in the spot there. But there's some funny people. Wee Noxie was...
That Matthew Knox?
Aye, Wee Noxie was brilliant. Remember one story, Chief Scout was in, so they're in the change room. Wee Noxie's sitting in the Chief Scouts went, what kind of watch is that? He's went, guess. And the Chief Scouts went, how the fuck am I, mate? You know, that's how I'm asking you. It was a guess watch. But Wee Noxie's dad used to tell us some stories. Try to go through customs with he had a Visa card, like a Visa card. He needed a visa. He told his dad he had the visa, and he's trying to use his Visa card because it said Visa to get through passport control and all that. Oxy, he was special.
Visa debit card, I've got a visa here.
Brilliant. Oxy was brilliant. Hardy was fun. I find like wee Bruce Anderson, people like that, they're not the brightest. They're incredible kids in terms of you want to do well for them. They're just infectious. They're young kids. They're not like they're brilliant. If they don't make it in football, I do not know what they're going to do. But that's probably one of the most enjoyable parts of football. Coaching boys that you want to coach, that want coached. And for me, that's a big thing in football. As a boys that want coached, try to find these boys that actually want coached.
Tremendous. What were you going to say?
No, because this is a boy that all 3 years when you talked about tech ball, one of the best technical players I've played with has always been Rafa De Vita.
Right,
Rafa. Any level.
Played me 4 times, never beat me.
No way.
I can't believe that.
He was raging. Ask him. Rafa was raging. Couldn't beat me.
Because he was my heady tennis partner at Livy. And he was
technique's a joke.
You used to use the wee yellow gate.
The yellow gate that came out in the stand.
I bought the tech ball table in. But the wee yellow gate, he used to constantly play that. But see, even now, I've got a tech ball table and it'll be staff. I'll be us playing it.
Playing it more, aye.
Why?
No, mate. I get started.
Built a gym during COVID. So the north stand.
You built it?
You built it?
Aye, we went and built it. So
you and the 3 boys, the 3 maintenance boys?
No, they were off. It was me and then Stretch. Then when lockdown, I got a couple of joiners in. But aye, we built the gym. So in the north stand, where the night spot was, that's been derelict for 15 years. I mean, derelict. So went in and spent, I don't know, 6 months building the gym.
The only thing that was in that room when I was there was a speedball.
Aye, no.
The only thing that was there.
Built a big brand new gym, AstroTurf area, spin studio, upper body, lower body, tech ball area, televisions, everything, treadmills. The club gate, I think I got 25 grand to buy the equipment and done all the building work ourselves.
Any chance of building a grass pitch? No.
I need to get Europe.
Just quickly, you watched any World Cup?
Aye, wee bits and bobs, but we've been over.
Who's going to win it?
Great, is it? Spain last night were
fucking
brilliant.
You called them, by the way. Talking about your show on Sunday, right? But you had the show when Scotland were playing. That just elevates it, eh?
Yeah.
And then see for me, like the World Cup, so I went to Brazil. Me and Big Strange went to the World Cup in Brazil. I went to the France World Cup with Scotland in it, and see having your nation there, it just makes it so much better, eh? So much better, and then you're watching this World Cup, and I don't know, because there's that much football on, you're watching it, but you're no.
Yeah, I get me.
Whereas if it was one big game, like I'm looking forward to Brazil tonight, looking forward to watching that. That's one game I want to watch it. Do you know what I mean? But there's that much football on during the day. You end up doing all that stuff while you're watching football, but you're not really.
And it's a time of the
detail.
year. You're used to the World Cups being the summer.
I know.
Sitting with a beer outside.
It might be you're on holiday or whatever. You're meeting your pals, you're off work, whatever it is. So it is a wee bit different. Have you been watching the World Cup?
No.
Has your mum not got your telly in your room?
Who's got the top goal scorer?
I've not got a clue. Don't know. I genuinely not really watched a lot because we've been back in training. You'd like to think Mbappe, something along the lines. I like him. Do you know what? I was surprised that Arsenal let him go.
Yeah.
I think just his style, his gait suggests he couldn't. But I just think he brings so much to the team. It's like we picked. You go outside Scotland and ask people about wee Scott Pittman. He's probably does nothing fancy, but you go inside the change room, he's in every player, and I think Giroud's one of the players. He brings so much to the team, but goes a wee bit unnoticed at times.
I think he's been that for years, hasn't he?
All types of goals he scores as well. Well, be in the air.
It's crazy Lewandowski as well, but he's not scored a goal at a World Cup.
He missed that penalty as well, didn't he?
Because I would have probably sat here and said Lewandowski if I hadn't heard that fact.
No.
Anything else? What about who's going to win it?
Not a clue.
Spain are looking really good.
Interesting to see. I think France could get better as the World Cup goes on, but it'd be interesting to see Brazil tonight.
Yeah. I said Argentina at the start.
I know, but do you think sometimes the slow burners are the ones that get there?
My main worry now is, did they get out of the group? Because Saudi Arabia, they've lost, and then they've got Mexico, Poland.
I bet you see that Mexico-Poland game, mate.
No great.
No.
Never
Fair,
watched
mate,
that.
both of them.
It's been quite poor. Some of them have been quite poor,
I was
haven't
quite
they?
impressed with Japan,
Aye,
the
it was good, wasn't it?
structure and how methodical they were. And it reminded me, was that had South Korea that way
Yeah,
at
that's
the
right.
semi-final.
Semi-final.
They just done their jobs meticulously
Yeah,
well. They do the basics really well.
He changed it at half time as well, didn't he?
Aye,
He went to a
changed the shape.
3-4-3.
I watched bits and balls of it, but he changed the shape.
I'll tell you my
Works
player of the
well.
tournament though, Javi or Pedri at Spain.
Oh, mate, they two
One of them,
last night.
one of them.
A joy to
Player
watch.
I never
mate.
seen
A
that
joy
game
to
last
watch.
night. I never seen
Wee
that.
Gavi, number 9,
He's,
what a player.
he's the youngest goal scorer in the World Cup since Pelé.
I couldn't see it. Somebody kept saying my voice notes.
Ridiculous.
I'm going to say all sorts tonight.
Oh yeah.
Can I come up the road with you now?
Aye.
I tell you what, I could have done this podcast all day.
Tremendous.
Thank
What a
you
guy,
very
David
much.
Martindale. What a man.